Get ready to tune in, turn back the dial, and rediscover the airwaves of yesteryear. This is Echoes from the Past, your backstage pass to the shows that changed everything.
Welcome back to Family Friendly Frights, where we dive into the spine-tingling world of old-time radio and unearth the secrets of your favorite horror classics. Today, I want to start with two unforgettable episodes that, honestly, still linger in the back of my mind, no matter how many times I listen to them. First up, Night of the Wolf, starring the one and only Vincent Price. Vincent Price, what a voice, right? I mean, he was captivating in everything he did, whether it was film, television, or, of course, radio. And Night of the Wolf is no exception. His voice had this, almost hypnotic quality, like he was pulling you right into the story with every word. He kind of had that dual thing going on, something both charming and chilling at the same time. Okay, picture this. You're sitting alone on a quiet night, lights dimmed, and suddenly Price's velvety voice tells you about a man cursed to be a wolf. It's gripping, it's eerie, and it's unforgettable. And let me say, the sound effects. Those howls. They had this rough, almost spine-tingling rawness that made it all the more authentic. You feel like you're there in the woods. Crazy, right? But Vincent isn't the only legend of the airwaves I've got to give credit to. Let's talk about Horror OTR Frankenstein Part 2. Now, this episode, wow, it's incredible. It takes the heart of Mary Shelley's story and brings it alive. Well, in a very different way. The way they used sound to create Victor Frankenstein's experiments? The sparks, the hum of equipment. It's all very vivid. It really made you visualize the giant creature coming to life in the lab. And the performances by these seasoned radio actors, artists really, they were unmatched. They didn't have CGI back then, but they didn't need it. With the way they portrayed terror and suspense, it's no wonder these shows left such a mark on listeners, and honestly paved the way for modern horror audio dramas today. Podcasts like this one, too, in a way, owe a little nod to these pioneers. Oh, and speaking of memorable moments, I'll never forget the first time I heard Vincent Price's voice. I must have been maybe 7 or 8. It was on late at night, one of those old replays. And boy, did it scare me. Like, really scare me. But at the same time, I couldn't stop listening. It was almost like a dare to myself, to see if I could handle the next chilling tale. And years later, here we are, talking about it like it was just yesterday. Funny, isn't it? When we talk about old-time radio horror, there's this incredible balance they had between subtlety and suspense, right? Take the BBC Ghosts from the Past series. Now, these stories weren't just spooky. They were layered, They mixed folklore, a bit of what you'd call psychological horror, and wrapped it all up in this quiet, creeping tension that just got under your skin. It's fascinating how they could do so much with so little. I mean, you think about the use of silence. That pause right before the ghostly door creaks open, the faint echo of footsteps down an empty hallway. It was genius. The kinds of effects that let your mind do most of the heavy lifting. And then there's Appointment with Fear. Oh, this one was ahead of its time. Hosted by Valentine Dial. They called him the Man in Black. His intros alone were spine-chilling. Like you knew you were in for something unforgettable. They didn't rely on over-the-top shocks or gore. Instead, it was this meticulous build-up, storylines where even mundane settings could feel like otherworldly. It's kind of amazing how these shows kept you glued to your seat, even if, you were totally ready to bolt out of the room. But if there's one story that really sticks with me, it's got to be The Willows by Algernon Blackwood. Now, this was originally a short story, but it got adapted into this multi-part radio drama. And wow, what a haunting experience. The idea of two travelers dealing with forces that, honestly, might be beyond human understanding? That's classic horror right there. And the way they staged it, oh man, it made you feel the oppressive, almost suffocating presence of the willow trees. Like, this wasn't just a setting. It was a character in the story itself. And, they really leaned into Blackwood's original theme, that beauty and danger of nature. There's something timeless about it. Even listeners a generation, or two, removed from its first broadcast still get, completely immersed. It's It's one of those works that captures how radio could make the simplest elements unbelievably terrifying. I've always said there's a kind of magic to hearing these things without, actually seeing them. It sparks your imagination. You picture the swaying willows, the rising river, the sense of something watching, lurking just out of sight. Honestly, I don't think there's a movie or TV show that could recreate that perfectly. Well, that's just me, being a little nostalgic, but hey, I think a lot of you would agree. There's something really special about family-friendly horror, isn't there? It's got this unique way of drawing people together. I mean, it's like a little thrill, a little chill, but nothing too intense. And the cool part? It bridges generations. It's the kind of thing you can sit down and enjoy with everyone. Parents, kids, even grandparents. It's like we all get to share in these stories, each of us bringing a little of ourselves to the experience. Take Dead Souls, for example. Now this one, originally based on Gogol's work, was adapted into a spooky audio drama that's become a bit of a classic. And it's all about atmosphere. The characters, the eerie sound effects. It's gripping in a way that lets your imagination take over. There's no explicit violence, nothing too scary, but still, you've got that tension. It's just enough to make you sit up and listen, or maybe hide under a blanket, if you're like me as a kid. And then there's The Children of Witchwood. Now this had more of that, classic fairy tale vibe. A little dark, a little mysterious. It's the kind of story where you can feel the weight of the old woods, the secrets hidden in shadows. But it's not terrifying. It's more about igniting curiosity. Getting you to ask, what's out there? What could happen next? Honestly, it's a great introduction to the wonderful weirdness of horror for younger listeners. I remember playing an episode like this for my kids a couple of years back. Just a fun way to share something I loved growing up. They were, maybe 8 and 10 at the time? And watching them get into it, seeing their imaginations light up in real time, it was amazing. They'd come up with theories, draw pictures of the characters. They even started making up their own creepy stories. It reminded me why I've always loved this genre so much. And this is the thing about family-friendly horror. It's not about shock or gore. It's about sparking something inside you. It's about using sound and story to transport you to another world, And when you're sharing it with kids, you get this wonderful mix of curiosity and connection. It's why I think horror like this will always have a place in our hearts, no matter how much media evolves. So whether it's Dead Souls, The Children of Witchwood, or even something new, keep sharing these stories. Pass them on. Watch those little sparks of imagination grow. Because honestly, there's no better legacy for horror than families huddling together, letting the shadows dance. Not too scary, but just scary enough. And that's all for today's episode of Family Friendly Frights. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, keep the lights dimmed, the stories spooky, and the imagination wide open. See you soon.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through the airwaves of the past. We hope you've enjoyed exploring the classic radio shows that shaped generations and left a lasting legacy. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode of Echoes from the Past. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to share it with fellow fans of history, storytelling, and vintage radio magic. Until next time, keep your dial set to the golden era and let the echoes of the past remind us of the timeless power of radio.